the percentage that we
1%.
That's right.
Well, tiny percentage.
Yeah.
And he next day he calls me and he wasn't mad or anything, but he said, "Bugatti, you know why you didn't win that fight? You didn't win the Derby?
Didn't focus.
Didn't focus."
Yeah.
And he was so fucking right. He was 100% right. And when I finished the season, right, because he gave me some boosters, right, he gave me 50 cocks, and then I don't have any small weights. He come back for 50 more. I went back for 20 more because I didn't have room, and gave me 70 cocks. And I told him, I go, I don't like these roosters, you know. I don't like them. And he said, "We'll just finish them off." So I finished them off, and we fought 5 times, won 3, and lost 2, which is actually pretty good for Mexico. For me, it's horrible, but I did pretty good. And afterwards, the season was over. What do you need? I need some good roosters.
Right.
So he sent me some roosters, and what do you need? I go, he helped me out with the expenses, and he sends me money, and he goes, "I'm gonna send you some dirt. It's plow dirt for the whole farm." Sends me a big old truck, and I sent over 2 more trucks, and I put plow dirt, and I'm so grateful for him because he believes in me.
Right.
But I can't let him down because I gotta focus.
Right.
And this shit just fucks me up because, like I said, and that's one of the reasons why I'm not gonna talk shit because, and what's his name? The other coach that was real famous.
Paul the Bear Bryant.
No, another one. I think it was Michael Jordan's coach.
Phil Jackson for the basketball coach for the Chicago Bulls.
It was like a basketball coach for one of the top teams. What's the top team ever? Basketball.
I don't watch sports.
Well, anyway.
The only thing I watch is college football.
Well, he said you either improve every day or get worse.
Right.
You don't stay the same.
Right.
And they said that he hardly ever talked about his wins or losses.
Right.
He just focused himself on
the
winning
next day.
on the next day.
Focus on the percentage the next day. That's right.
Before speeches or interviews, before he wouldn't talk about winning that day or about losing that day.
Right.
Or losing yesterday.
Right.
He would just say, We're ready for the
Y'all
game.
be here at practice at 10 a.m. and the game's at 6 p.m.
Right. And he focused on winning. So I found out that this was taking my focus away.
Right.
And me being cocky and getting people pissed off was and
well, all right. Let me stop you right there.
I'm not that person, though.
Let me stop you right there. Okay. Let's say you had a focused and you had a won the 260.
Right.
Is that cell phone gonna pay you $260?
No.
Okay. Well, then and I'm gonna say this. I can't tell you how many times back when it was legal, I'd have a pretty good day and I'd call my wife and I'd say, "Hey, did you take care of so and so? And did you rotate so and so? And did you?" And I'm going down my checklist in my brain, and I know she's done it. And then she'd say, I got these 8, and I got them 8, and I got that, and I done moved these 10 up, and I put 8 in the fly pins, and I done got the roosters in the boxes. I said, "Oh, okay, all right. Is everybody okay? Yeah. Did you feed everybody? Yeah. Is Little Bear okay? Yeah. Okay. All right, good deal. All right." And then she'd say, "Hey." I'd say, "What?" She'd say, "How'd we do today?" And I said, "Well, we won. We won, whatever, or we won the Derby today." And she's like, "Well, why didn't you start with that?" I mean, it was my way of thinking was, it's behind me.
Behind you.
I'm driving home. Okay. Like if the wind is already with us, when we get coming home, you call the wife or the worker and tell them, go ahead and focus on tomorrow.
It doesn't matter anymore.
It doesn't matter anymore. That's correct.
You know what Victor Tommy, the dad, not the son, the dad said, he goes, I did an interview a bunch of years back with him, right? He said, it doesn't matter what you did in the past.
Right.
People want to know what you do right now. Yeah. Were your grandpa a cocker?
No, my grandpa was not. My daddy was.
Okay. You're located here in Arkansas.
Arkansas, yes, sir.
That's because you're from here, right? And you got family ties.
Right, family ties. And my granddaddy had a big patch here at one time, and it's kind of ended up with what I got.
Good area here, right? I mean,
well, it's a real. It's a lot of forest here, a lot of swamps, a lot of creeks and ponds and lakes, a lot of hunting here.
Is there difference between racing here and, like, let's say South Texas, California, New Mexico, Alabama, Kentucky?
Right. In my opinion, the Southeastern Conference up through Kentucky, back down to Arkansas and over to northern Alabama, we have the cold winters, and the old timers claim that kills the diseases, and we have a lot of hills, so we have good drainage, and the old timers claim that the bad gets washed off. Now, whether it does or don't, I don't know, but that's the old legend.
Well, the best thoroughbreds come from Kentucky, right?
Kentucky's got the limestone ground and the limestone water, and the best thoroughbreds in the world come from Kentucky.
Right.
And, that's an old tale, but it must be true because yet today it still runs true. It's kind of like the old solid lines, they still run true.
Right. You think the best roosters come from Kentucky, or you think there's better roosters here, or you think it doesn't matter if you race in Kentucky or race here? You see a difference in roosters racing in Kentucky and here?
Well, I've seen nice roosters raised all across the Southeastern Conference.
This whole area, right? Alabama, Kentucky.
Yeah, Tennessee, Kentucky, on up to North Carolina, South Carolina, back down to where we are.
Okay.
And you got a lot of hills and mountains, so it just depends on who's where. But yeah, some of the nicest farms and some of the nicest roosters come out of that area.
Okay. What has it taken to reach to where you're at right now in your life? I mean, work wise, and I know it's work, and it's work time and dedication and sacrifice too, right?
Right, a lot of work, a lot of sacrifice. I would say just a true grit, 7 days a week, the dedication and determination. I've talked before about how my wife is the key to my success. She's right there beside me.
Your wife?
And then I've had, yes, my wife.
Shout out to your wife?
Yes, shout out to Hardhead.
Shout out to your girlfriend too?
No, leave the girlfriend out of the video. Hey, you leave my girlfriend out, and I'll leave your boyfriend out.
Oh, shit.
No, but it's
chop your boss off.
Yeah, that's exactly right. She's pretty rough old girl. We better be good to her. But no, it's just a determination of this is what we're gonna do. This is how we're gonna do it, and whatever time it takes to get there. You can't do it all in one day. So, I don't care who you are or how much money you got or how much money you don't have. So it's a section deal. It's a day-by-day deal. It's a dedication of 7 days a week.
So how long have you been raising chickens then?
All my life. My daddy had them my whole life. And when I was 11, I started handling.
So you got a partner that helps you out with the breeding part? I mean, with the eggs part, right?
Yeah, I got a partner, and he's a very, very, very dedicated homebody. He stays home. He's one of the greatest people you'll ever meet. Good dude. And back when it was legal, everybody loved him. And we're complete opposites. He's the quiet, just happy-go-lucky guy. But he's number one in the world, in my opinion, on broodstock, eggs, incubators, babies, knowledge, work, determination.
I thought I was number one.
No, you suck. But but my partner, and he's really, really, really good with everything he does. He's real consistent.
Okay, shout out to him.
Shout out to him. He's number one. He knows who he is. Matter of fact, all the old timers know who he is because they still talk about, where's he at and when is he coming out. And I said, well, he's got to stay on top of the eggs and the incubators and the babies.
How long have you had this farm for? I mean, that you've been really raising.
I moved.
I mean, when did you start really raising? Just
right here.
I mean, in
2011, 2012,
that you really started. I mean,
right.
Not just as a hobby. I mean.
Oh no, all my life. Chickens have been here my whole life. I moved off and then moved around. I had rental property and real estate, and hell, I was moving and back and forth and fooling with that for years. And the farm was here the whole time. But when we moved back here is when my daddy got sick, and we built this house here. And when that was in 2011, my daddy had open heart surgery and a stroke and heart attack and all this. I mean, it was a disaster. But mentally, he couldn't understand why they had him down or they had him working on him, because he kept telling my wife, he said, Kathy, honey, go get my truck keys, baby. We got to get the hell out of here. He had that mentality of he had to get out of there.
Right.
Well, they come to me and my wife, and they're like, look, when he does, he's going to go to the nursing home for like 8 weeks or 12 weeks of rehab or whatever, and they're going to teach him to do some things again. But when y'all get him home, somebody's going to have to live with him. So me and my wife, we sold everything we had except for the rent houses at that time, and we moved back here. Well, we moved into the big brick house over there, and they told us, like, you're going to help him take a shower. And it's going to be a long process. You know, you've got to commit. Mm-hmm. We dropped everything we was doing. I was working like 80 and 90 hours a week at the factory, and my wife took right up with my daddy. No questions asked. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. She dropped everything she had going and took right up with my daddy. And I mean, it was a blessing, really. And we started this house, and we were going to build this house and everything. And we brought in the parts and pieces, and we built it, and she painted the molding, and the guys were working. And the day we put this flooring down, I sat right over there in a chair, and I had like worked 4 months on 12 hours a day, 12-hour night shifts, 4 months in a row without a day off. And I come in, I sit over, and I just went out, and they were putting this flooring down in this house, and my wife was here with them. My wife is the key to what we have. Well, anyway.
And she didn't have to do that. She didn't have to take care of your dad.
No, she didn't. I got a funny story I'll tell here in just a minute.
And that's how she's going to take care of you.
I hope so. That's why I tell her every day how lucky she is. So, Daddy, he gets up, and he's defeated the stroke. And, I mean, he's back walking. He never give up mentally. And it was gameness. I mean, his roosters wasn't game when I was growing up. They'd hit you with both hands, but they wasn't game. But he was game. And when I got her here from the Philippines, is like a year later, all this happened, okay? So we build this house, we get it completely finished, and we lack like the shower being finished, and we're going to move in, and my daddy took sick and died.
Oh, wow.
So we had that house over there, big, nice, 4-bedroom brick house sitting over there. It's empty. And then me and my wife moved in this house, and it's brand new. So we had, we just stayed here. Anyway, long story short, my wife, when she took up with my daddy, we was building this house, and me and her got into an argument. And he done pulled himself together, after that stroke and everything. He said, hey, Daddy. I said, what you got, Kenny Wayne? He said, let me tell you something, son. You ain't going to argue with my Filipino. He says, if you keep showing your ass, one of y'all's going to have to leave here, boy, and it ain't going to be her.
Or he went to kick you out.
I'm like, hey, I own all this. He said, I don't give a damn what you own. If you got to go, you got to go. My Filipino ain't going nowhere. And I had to really learn to shut up and simmer down, even, newlywed and going through everything with that, and building a house, and working night shift, and we had chickens in the yard.
Wow.
It was a disaster, but we made it through it. And
that's when we started raising the ACOs and the...
Well, no, then I was with the Kelsos and the yellow-legged hatches. Well, that's what me and my wife was using. Well, we was breeding the Spangles up here that I was known for, me and my wife. We was just going to raise a few and play with them and breed them and have them here at the yard, here and this and that and other. Well, my amigos down south started doing good. That's when Beto and Michael, a few years later, did all the good. Well, we joined in to be with them, and then it all fell apart. But we've already talked about that. But I got a funny story. When my wife was taking care of my daddy, I was at work, and Kathy had never been in a vehicle. She had never driven. So we get her a John Deere lawnmower, old school steering wheel lawnmower. So Daddy had it, and I bring it around, and we're going to put her on it and teach her to drive. And he's out there, and he's all banged up, you know. And I got it running, and I made around. I showed Kathy, here's the clutch and brake, and here's the steering wheel, you know. So I get off of it. She gets on, and it dies. And I'm like, what the hell? So we're looking at it, and I said, well, get off, and I get back on. I start it right back up. Well, she gets on and it dies. She didn't weigh enough to make the safety switch work.
Oh, wow.
So we run a rope through a cinder block and hung it on the back of the seat.
Funny.
And taught her to drive with the lawnmower. Well, hell, a couple weeks goes by, and my wife calls me. I'm at work at the factory on day shift. She calls me. She says, hey, Toddy. I said, what you doing? She says, you want me to bring you a plate lunch? Plate lunch? How in the hell are you going to bring me a plate lunch? You and Daddy's at the house. She says, I said, what? She says, Daddy told me to get in his Nissan. We went 3 loops around the backyard, and we done drove to town.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
No license or anything.
No license or nothing. She runs a stop sign, runs over some rose bushes. He fires her. He gets behind the wheel. He's all banged up. They're coming home, and he hits a deer.
No.
So I fired him. No more driving. But
yeah,
that's how we ended up back here at the farm. And
so what happened to the yellow hair?
They did the same thing. We kept inbreeding them and inbreeding them, and they got wider and shorter.
The problem there, you didn't have enough to start with, or what?
That's right. We didn't have enough to start with. When we got them, we had a pair. Well, we had to do what we had to do. But when we bred it 3/4 Kelso and 1/4 the Hoskins, man, we were showing out.
Like if you had one, let's say you have, I don't know, yellow leg hatchcock, right?
Right.
And you got 2 sisters.
Right. You can start 2 lines and
lines.
keep them going for a while.
Not forever though.
But not forever. Because see, here's your deal. When you're breeding.
So you would do the cock with a hen,
and mark them different.
And
then breed him, this cock back to them daughters and this stag to this mama. But sooner or later, inconsistencies are going to pop out. You may breed red roosters for 6 years, and a Spangle may pop out.
That's the inconsistencies.
The inconsistencies.
That's why people say, my Kelsons came out white, and they're happy about it.
Right. Right. But all that was a throwback to, I'll give you an example. 75 years ago, the Hulseys was the big deal.
The pumpkin colored motherfuckers.
The pumpkin colored Hulseys. Well, I've got some friends of mine in East Texas that are big time Albany breeders. Well, they breed back and forth, and breed this in, breed that back out, and fool with it for 40 years. Well, all of a sudden, some pumpkins started popping out.
Right.
Well, it's a throwback to that pumpkin gene of what was put in and then bred back out to keep that going in this direction. It's a never-ending process, but sooner or later, everything plays out.
Anything.
Or inconsistencies show up.
Any line.
Anything. And that's my opinion, and I've watched it.
That's where you have to add something.
That's right.
Similar. Or that you gave somebody the same line and
that's right.
Bring it back.
Me and William Osborne, we talk a lot. And there's been times in life William Osborne was on top of the world. He was the main guy, I guess you would say, for Showtime. Well, William, me and him talk about it all the time. With our little roosters that we've bred for the last 30 years, you breed same to same and hope it works. But here's your deal. William Osborne's been on top of the world back and forth a few times. But William goes for athletic ability and reach. But William also says a lot of times you got to go same to same. If he's got one little group that's out of control, blow, he'll try to find something to breed to them to do the same. Because if you breed something that stays on the ground, you're going to get something in the middle and it's not going to work. So a lot of times the old breeders, and William talks about this, we talked about this the other day, if you've got a really good, say, radio family, and some guy 4 states over's got really good radios, the best thing for you to do is contact him and make an agreement, or swap a rooster every 3 years, or buy a pair and try to figure out what works, breed same to same.
But you could ruin it.
Well, that's why you only start with a pair. So you take a pair of a new guy's, let's say you got radios, for instance. Okay, and my guys are got what I think's the best radios in the world right now. So I call my family up and I say, hey, I need a pair for this guy. And you take 1 pullet of yours and breed to their rooster. Breed 1 stag of yours to their pullet. Well, you got to toe mark them different, and you got to keep up with them for 2 years or 3 years. Right. If it works, only keep 4 pullets each year. So you can go back and say, hey, this stag of theirs worked with my pullet. This did not. Well, you kill that process.
People that have had the same line for 40 years, like let's say Peck Brown, how do they do it?
Significantly master breeder. Or he had 2 good lines and he crossed them and it worked. Well, the Gilmores, and then he stepped it back out.
Yeah, the Gilmores have some yellow hatch in them.
That's right.
And the yellow hatch has some Gilmore in it.
Because when he bred them, they were the same chicken. They were just different genetic colors or different genetic leg colors. But at the end, they were the same. If every one of them went that high, all the yellow leg hatches went that high, all the Gilmores went that high.
Right.
If they all went 12 rounds, both families went 12 rounds. Well, he put them together and it worked, but he stepped it back out and took them away from each other to make it work.
Right.
You've got to know what you're doing. It's like this. You know, there was a while there, everybody was sweater radio crazy.
Yeah.
Well, they both, but they were the same. And when it worked, it was magnificent. Kelso sweater. When that was a huge craze.
Yellow hatch sweater.
For several years.
Hatch Kelsos for 4
Hatch
years.
Kelsos. Well, they took the hatch that went right here and the Kelso that went right there, and it was similar.
Hatch roundhead.
Same thing. Because your hatch, let's say they all go this high, and your roundheads is from here to there with the little scents. You try to put that Pyre Wavos cock on that athletic mama with perfect conformation, and you try to make something.
What happens if you do the other way around? If you do the ability on the rooster, the rooster's ability and the mama's
if the cock was a producer and like right now, I think the hatch that I'm fooling with and the gray I'm fooling with has the ability, because in Mexico they could win. In the Mexican style, they could win. Okay. I've watched them win. So, yeah, I could try it, but if I was to try it, I would take a roundhead cock and 2 hatch pullets and try to raise a dozen of this and a dozen of that and try that dozen. I wouldn't go out there and try to mass produce 87 hens and 9 roundhead cocks.
Right.
I'm an experimental guy, and when I do an experiment, I'm pretty hard on that experiment. I may be even harder on that experiment than what I'm already been successful with.
And you have done great in the past, and you've all fucked up already. Also.
Right. I've been on both sides of the world.
On both sides of the board.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, the reason I'm here with you right now is because you took it to 408 roosters.
Loss.
And you could have sold them to some Mexican in Mexico, or sold them to 100 Mexicans, 4 roosters each, or whatever, and say, you know what, you guys fucked them up and blah blah. But you knew.
That's right.
They were no good no more. You knew that.
That's right.
And you did the right thing.
And I'm gonna tell you this.
That's what I say, guys. Look for somebody honest.
That will try.
That's right. Honest. I should have said this, but you can probably get a better rooster from small breeders.
If you're wanting to be competitive, in my opinion, you need to do 2 things. You need to throw that cell phone down, and you need to go watch in Mexico.
And people give me hell for this too. there's teams down there, right? That breed and breed and breed.
Right.
And never fucking fight. And sell 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8,000 roosters.
Right.
And they never fight. And when they do fight, they either fight in real low competition.
Okay.
And when they do fight in low competition, they don't fucking win.
Right.
So why would people buy from people who don't fight? And when they do fight, they fight in low competition. And when they do fight in low competition, they lose.
Right. You know, it's life is a double-edged sword.
Right.
And sometimes you got to, by God, run out there and make your mind up. Today's the day. I'm either going to go up,
Yeah.
I'm going to stay where I'm at, or I'm going to get out. And you know, don't get me wrong. I know some of the best breeders and feeders in the world. When me and my wife had our big run, I think we had 79 brothers. Well, the rooster and some hens we had proven. We put them in a netted pen, but it was like 11 sisters and a cock. But we had done proven the brothers of the 11 sisters.
Okay.
And we had done brought them back 3/4 Kelso and 1/4 Hoskins. And I think it was 79 of them. But anyway, whatever the number was, we went through them and we dominated. And at that time, it was like bring the best 5 every Saturday. So if you're going to put 22 up, and we need to talk to the young feeders and the old feeders alike. In my opinion, and I'm not very smart, if you're going to go put the numbers in the barn and select the winners, don't put 6 up and say we're going for 4.
I've told them there's 3 things: genetics, super health,
And
selection.
numbers.
And selection.
Numbers.
Same thing.
Selection of the numbers, however you want to
Yeah.
say it. That's right. But here's my deal. Okay, I've had guys come over here before and they say, Toddy, why have you got 22 roosters up? And I said, well, I need 4. And they're like, oh, we put up 6 one time. We won 4.
One time.
I said, well,
But do it consistently?
I said, man, if it's working for you, what do I know?
That time
I'm a dumb ass from Arkansas. I don't know very much.
The time you won the most, what was your percentage?
We went 9 trips in the Mexican and won 7. We went 6 trips in the American and won 5. But we did it from like February to May.
But what was your percentage winnings?
I don't know. Because there was one time we split and we lose and a buddy of ours win.
Hey,
I mean,
tell them about when you used to go to the when it was legal, right?
right.
When you showed up.
Yeah, and
What happened?
We had the big Spangles. That was in the middle of that run. And we showed up, and when we bred the Hoskins with the Kelso, some of them had gotten big, like 5'7" or 5'9". And we roll in over there that day, and it was a little private gathering among all of our friends. And I set the Spangle roosters out, and a buddy of mine, he comes running over here. He says, Toddy, what's yours weighing? I said, they're going to be 5'6" to 5'10", I'm guessing. I hadn't weighed them yet, that day. And he says, well, we got big ones. I said, okay. I said, well, man, I maybe somebody else will have some big ones. He said, so we go over there and we weigh them up, and they were like 5'7", 5'9", 5'9", 5'10". And they loaded their roosters and left.
And they left.
And we only had like 17 participants that day. So the guy comes around there and he's like, our biggest rooster is like a 5'8" and a 5'5", and after that it's 5'3" and down. We couldn't get matched that day. But they had 3 shows that we could have matched, but they didn't. We was on a pretty good run,
And they left.
And they left.
I got shit for that. I told them, I got 4 goals this year.
Right.
Make the team I'm going to work for, which is mostly Magdalena and a little bit of Cascabeles.
Right.
But I'm mostly going to feed for Magdalena because I got more roots to him. Make it to Cocker of the Year. Me become Theater of the Year. Win 94% of my fights because Bush won 93% of the fights. So
Okay.
I want to be the best.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I repeat that. I want to be the best.
Right.
And for 2 or 3 teams when I show up to the pit to leave, I got hell for that. Oh
Right.
my God!
Right.
But you know why I say it though? Because I know you did it. I knew that my buddy Andrew from California did it when he showed up.
Right.
People leave.
Well,
I know Bush when he showed up, people will leave.
Right. Well, see what it was kind of for me, and I'm not very smart,
You're dumb for saying that.
but I was confused. Like, I got ugly spangled chickens, a dumb goofy guy from Arkansas, and my wife's gonna hold them. And for me, it was, and they're pretty solid friends of mine, and pretty solid team. And for me, I will never leave. If you come to me and say, hey, I got a 5'10", you got a 5'10", and everybody else has got 4 11s and downs, I say, well, just tell them to either put us first or second or third or fourth or fifth.
I'm
not backing up from nobody. And I'm not the best, and I'm not perfect, and I'm not nobody. You understand?
I want to fight the best. And I
I
don't.
My theory on it is, you know, some people sit around and they say, we want to meet Todd or we don't want to meet Todd. I'm cool with it either way. As long as they bring that rooster to the scale and he's legal, his tools are legal, and it ain't no hard feelings or no trouble or no drama, and the referee's straight up, I'm cool with any Philippine, Mexico, Italy,
Whatever.
this living room, whatever, as long as it's evenly straight up.
Right.
I don't want nothing give to me. I don't want nothing to, well, I ain't going to put up with too much being taken away from me. But that's one of the things that we need to stress to the younger guys, too, is when you go somewhere, go with respect, know the rules, be straight up to the best of your ability. You understand?
Yeah, that's, and I'm not going to even get into anymore on the buying and selling fights.
No, there's no need in getting into it.
Because it's something that happens, and I think this
It ain't going to happen with me.
it's a lack of respect and honor.
But because here's my deal.
But I'm not going to get into
You
it
know,
much.
and I'm going to say this, and I've said it my whole life. You know, we get to joking around at work, or me or you, or whatever. If you're going to steal or do anything corrupt or anything crooked, make it $2 million. Don't make it $6. Don't make it $1,200. Don't make it $2,400. If you're going to do it, make $2 million.
Same thing.
But what I'm saying is for $2 million, you could go to the other side of the world and live the rest of your life.
Okay.
I've seen people do crooked stuff for $12.
Okay. If you cheat on your wife with a fine ass model, 18-year-old,
or 300 pound,
300 pound, 50-year-old girl, it's the same goddamn thing.
That's right. Cheating is cheating. So go ahead and do the 18-year-old. That's right.
Stealing is stealing. Lying is lying.
That's right.
The good thing, I've never had people lie or steal for me and or fuck me over or that. I've been blessed. I've been blessed. I've only hung with good, honest people that have never done it to me. I've been so blessed, Jesus. You have blessed me.
You know, over here around where I work, and a lot of my chicken buddies, it's an inside joke. We always say, poor old Toddy, poor old Toddy. So now I'm gonna translate that over. I'm gonna loan it to you.
Poor old Victor.
Poor old Saint Bougerie.
Hey, I want to finish it now. We gotta go to dinner. Advice for our cocker friends in Mexico.
Health, cutting ability, solid chickens.
And my question I always ask everybody: what's more important for you, cut or gameness?
in today's society, with a little bit of money, a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of homework, you don't have to give up either one. There's good chickens out there. Okay. You just have to go get the good chickens, and they're out there. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Some guys are after a fast dollar. Some guys get a little bit of money and won't go play big shot.
Right.
You got to decide in this game if you're going to do this. First of all, the initial investment doesn't matter. If you go to a poor boy's yard and buy some decent chickens for $100, or if you go to a big shot's house for $7,000 and buy something, it doesn't matter, because the next 3 years you got to work 7 days a week. You got to go to the feed store every week. You got to drag that water hose every week.
Right.
You got to get on the lawnmower every week. Whatever you're going to do, my advice is, and I'm not perfect by no means, start with solid foundation and then by athletic ability and put them together.
And I was the
power on top.
The power on the daddy.
That's right. I've had to learn that lesson the hard way, and we've talked about this several times.
Why did you do the other way around,
and the reason I keep repeating this is I've learned it the hard way, and I'll give it to somebody else for free. You got to breed a green-legged rooster to white-legged or yellow-legged hens, and whatever name brand you want to throw on anything, or big name or little name, it don't matter. You got to breed good to good.
And what about straight cone to peacock? Some people say that's good or not. It doesn't matter.
I don't think it matters, because here's my deal.
A lot of straight cone have peacock blood in them, and a lot of peacock blood have straight cone blood.
Well, in today's society, everything's crossed.
Right.
Except for Jesus. Jesus has got pure chickens. And St. Boo Green, St. Boo Green may have pure chickens. But everybody else in the world that walks on 2 feet has got cross chickens. So I'm a perfect example right now with our hatch radios. We get a few that come peacock.
Oh, wow.
And they're gorgeous. They're really nice specimens. But I don't know, Victor. I've back when it was legal, I've handled for everybody, from old men that have 6 or 8 chickens at home to some of the biggest big shots in the world. And I've been around people and everything. But if you stick with that green-legged daddy and that yellow-legged and white-legged mama, and you do your job, you will have the ability to be competitive.
I'll tell you one thing. Everything I'm breeding this year, everything.
Right.
Everything it's going to have either Gilmore,
right,
or penny blood.
That's right.
Everything.
Well, it's solid.
Everything's going to have either half or
because
quarter. Everything. There's not going to be one thing that have either a quarter or half of it.
Right. Well, here's the deal, though. You'll have the opportunity to win if you're solid, healthy.
Oh, wait. I repeat that. I made a mistake. Either Gilmore, penny, or yellow leg.
Right.
Because on Peck's blood, the power and the huevos come from the yellow leg.
Right. Well,
not from the
that's exactly
Gilmore.
Right. Well, then you need to set that as your standard of, here's what I'm going to start with. Either the daddy or the granddaddy has got to be a power, green leg, or yellow leg hatch. Whatever your decision is, you understand? You've got to start with the healthy, strong specimen that's game. And then you pick that athletic side that's got that cut. And then you make your crosses to where you think you need to be personally. And I'd tell that to anybody starting, or anybody old, or anybody young. It don't matter.
Okay. You
got to stick with solid, because the fads come and go. And I've learned the lesson the hard way.
3 years for the gallo, gallinas, hennies.
Yeah.
And I hope I'm gonna get in trouble for this. No, I shouldn't say it. I'm not gonna say it. But like I said, whatever you got, and the reason why I think it's gonna fade out, because it's not that foundation foul.
That's right. The foundations in our lifetime are still the foundations when we're old and fat and gray-headed.
But if somebody has hennies or toppies or blues or bulicos or polacos or whatever they have,
call Victor. He needs some.
No. Call me. I need some. But try to make it the best you can.
Right. If that's what you love, dedication, 7 days a week, make them the best hennies. If you got blues, make them the best blues. If that's what you're setting your heart and mind and soul into, do it 100%.
Right.
And prove me wrong, prove Victor wrong, and prove history wrong.
Okay.
And try to have your 3-year run, and when you have it, have the best 3 years of your life. And if you have a 30-year run, call me and tell me about it, and I'll cheer you on.
And give me something.
And I'll keep with what I got. That's my opinion.
So you're not going back to inicios?
I'm not. I never will.
Never will.
Never. I know the old people never say never, but with what I've got right now, that's what I'm gonna ride until something comes up that's 3 times better. I'm set where I am to the day I die, unless something goes inconsistent or bad, and then I'll make the changes. Okay.
Guys, thank you very much. Comment and please share. Comenten y comparten. Dios me lo bendiga a todos. God bless to everybody.
Yep. God bless everybody.
And if I've hurt anybody's feelings today,
well, I didn't hurt nobody's feelings because I'm a precious little angel. You're the one that's no good.